Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. We are live, and I don't know whether you agree with me or not, but the international breaks are possibly the most boring things you could ever have. Like, I don't know why they're so early in the start of the season. They've been like that for years now. That needs to change. We're going to be talking about that. It's just they need to come up with a different format or something where they can get it out of the way. Maybe they should have like a mini week tournament, like where they can, or breaks, where there's breaks in the league, they can do like batches of games. Just get it out of the way in one go, because this is just too much. What's your thoughts on that, Garth, quickly, before we go into the show?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I already think there's too many games around, period. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's necessary to have this here. I think, listen, we're in a privileged position because our nation is a strong nation. But I think the Andorras, the Macedonias, even like down to like the Finlands of the world, they need to have their own tournament to qualify to have a little like bit at the end of the season where they play the big to get in. Because otherwise it's just leading to these games like last night. Was it last night? Night before last, England Andorra, where it's just a team sitting back for 90 minutes of football. The newspapers, the media get on the back of the players because they can't break down 11 men like it's easy to do. Gone are the days where, because they're all professional footballers now, so gone are the days really when Andorra turn up with 11 postmen and England can beat 9-0.
Yeah.
So that's what you're getting. It's an acting futility. But like I say, we are in a privileged position, man. I'm sure for like the logic will be is Andorra's World Cup. They get to play England. They get to play the big teams, you know what I mean? But I'm sorry, with the amount of football that's on right now, with players, and I'm not one of these people. They get paid $500,000 a week. I could play 2 games a week. Yeah, you probably could, but not at their level, not at a good level.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, no, you don't need an international break now. It's always been the blight. I mean, I'm sure Wenger used to whinge about it every year, didn't he? When September rolled round for the
he did. We're going to get back. We're going to get into that in a bit more detail in a second. We're also going to be talking about multi-club ownership. Should it be allowed in football? Like there's having clubs all over the world and getting your foot into different potential youth academies which you can get involved in, club ownership in a completely different country is not connected to yours, and they're not going to play each other. Fine, I don't mind that. But once there's an opportunity, once there's a chance that these clubs can play each other, is that allowed? We've seen Chelsea with multiple clubs, the Blue Co Company, the Strasbourgs, and the multiple clubs out there like that. They've also got Manchester City, the City Group, which has got multiple clubs. They've had clubs for years, but now we're seeing Girona, we're seeing Locken, we're seeing Troyes, and I think Paris FC also, all owned by the City Company. Eventually, they're going to be, their aspirations are to be top clubs. Should they be allowed to have that multi-club ownership? Crystal Palace have been dealt a blow in Europe because of connections to other clubs. We're going to be discussing that as well, and all the latest transfer news as well. Should the transfer window be open after the Premier League campaign starts? Should that be the cutoff point? Why are people still allowed to buy players? Why are clubs still allowed to sell players? Especially with those potential connections, we're going full circle here, with those potential connections to clubs elsewhere around the world, Saudi Arabia. Once that Premier League campaign, is that not giving those clubs with those connections a certain advantage if they can still get rid of those players off the books, which they're not going to be playing, and they're going to have to be paying big wages for as well? We're going to discuss. First and foremost, as soon as we started on the topic already, and we're going to be discussing a little bit on England, the international breaks. Garth, we were speaking about it just then at the start of the show about international breaks. It's far too early. The Premier League campaign is 3 games in, and we've already got an international break. Potential for more injuries, players travelling tight. It's not needed. We said you said something which I thought was a good idea there, where the smaller clubs, the clubs like Andorras, the Lithuanias, the Gibraltars, they should have a mini tournament which then they get to play the bigger teams. How would you rank that? Would you just rank it on a FIFA ranking? If you're certain FIFA ranking you had to play in this tournament, the pre-tournament, like the Intertoto Cup of the European Championships and World Cups. How would you do it? How would you do it? So those teams, would it be a case of those teams? Because it's an opportunity to get into the World Cup, because it's an opportunity to play in those games. Do you have them playing those extra games because they wouldn't really impact the bigger teams, the bigger leagues as much? How would you play it?
Yeah, I suppose the way you do it is probably the reverse of that, which is the top 16 nations based on the points system don't play in a qualifying. But that's they've earned it already, and the rest of the teams sort of do this now. But you don't have the international breaks like this. You have it's difficult, obviously, because there's 46 teams in the World Cup this year coming round. 48, whatever it is, 40 something. And so it's difficult to say. And like I said, obviously, it's a privileged position to be in that you're one of the big nations. But personally, I just don't think they should be playing international football like this during the season. I think, I honestly believe you have a tournament for smaller teams in between season, like in between World Cups and European Championships. Do you have it then? That's when you do it. Or we start having a winter break across Europe. From leagues, and that's where you get these international games in. But to be having it a 10-day break, 3 games into the new season, it's crazy. And it's just these days you've got players flying all over the world. Like I think Odegaard's got injured, hasn't he? I believe for Denmark. He played for Denmark and picked up a knock again. There could have been just TikTok saying that, but I did see that yesterday. Can't believe anything. You can't believe anything you see on TikTok, obviously. But yeah, look, the logistics is saying that I'd really need to sit down and proper figure out how you'd do it. I don't have that off the top of my head. But bottom line is I don't think you should be having an international break in September and then another one in October for what are dead rubber games for England or Italy or whoever they are, the big nations, to go and play Andorra, like I said, Macedonia. You know, I mean, like any of these teams ranked 100 and something in the world. Like, I'm sorry. I know it's unfair to say that for these smaller nations whose fans will probably be watching this being like, well, I want to see my team play football. I want to be given the chance. But a bit like, I suppose, like the Six Nations, there should be a secondary competition where these teams play it out, and then 1 or 2 of those teams get into the qualifying for the big tournament. But with the amount of teams playing in it now, it's not going to happen. So it's just more football, unnecessary football. And mainly for me, it's this as well, not just physicality on the players, like the detriment to their physical health, but also the football's dead, man. It's not fun for anyone to watch. Yeah. Like, I refused, didn't I? This goes back for me for almost 20 years because I went and watched England versus Macedonia in a World Cup qualifier. It was 1-1, and that was the day. I'm sure it was Michael Owen was playing, so it's like 2002, something like that, 2006 maybe. And I absolutely have refused to pay to watch England since then. I've been offered tickets since then. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not doing it. It's a waste of my time, mate. So,
I got England tickets for I think it's the first game at Wembley or the second game at Wembley. It was Kevin Davis's England debut, and they drew 0-0. And I think it was to someone like, I don't know, someone we should have been beating. And it was the driest game ever. Yeah. So dry. No, I agree. And I think it is a little bit like the Champions League preliminary rounds. I don't think it's a case of it's unfair. Those clubs, like you said, have earned the right to play less games. And would it not be, if you do like a mini tournament over, you could probably spread it out across a year, two batches, one in the winter, one in the summer, over a week or 2 weeks. And that sorts out those smaller clubs that will play in the last stages of the qualifying rounds for the World Cups and the European Championships. That way, it's also a good opportunity for those people to be centre stage for a little while in some of those games. It may be entertaining for people like us. It might be more entertaining than watching England play against Andorra, because they might go for it a little bit more in these games, and people get to be seeing them a bit more. So it may have its benefits as well, whereas you wouldn't usually watch a Andorra versus Gibraltar, but you might end up watching it because it's the prelude to the who's going to be potentially playing who. I'm not against it. I've never liked the fact that there's been this international break straight away in the season. It's been like that for ages. I hate it. They need to get rid of it. But yeah, I don't see it going anytime soon.
Do you think, just before we move on quickly, do you think that these smaller nations are actually even getting anything out of just getting beat by the big nations? Like if they play their own tournament against smaller nations, I for me think that their game will raise because they're playing teams of a similar level instead of just and they can express themselves better. They can try new things. The managers can try different tactics, different styles of play. Where they're a bit more expansive, they're a bit more open. Instead of going, we've got England, I've got to put 11 men behind the ball. Like I can't do anything. I've just got to sit in, dig deep, and hope. Of course, listen. Anyone who disagrees with me right now will probably be able to pull up results from the past where I don't know England's lost to Romania, or Scotland got a win here. Like Wales got through to the semi-finals of the World Cup. Yeah, I understand, but these are one-offs. The reality is, it's usually a dead rubber, and the big team are beating these little teams. When was the last time England lost a World Cup qualifier? I can't remember the last time. It must be donkey's years. Let me just sit there. It must be donkey's years when they last lost to a small nation. And it also puts jeopardy on, because if you have these rankings, it puts jeopardy on England as well to secure that guaranteed spot. Like they've got to beat in the Italys and the Frances of the world.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. Like you said, I think if you've got more opportunity for, because at the end of the day, they're gonna want to put this on TV somewhere. So you've got more opportunity for these to be on TV. Those federations get more money because of TV coverage. Like, I think it would benefit them. I think it would personally benefit them more. With TV coverage, it means more money for foundations where you can reinvest back into it. I like the idea. Because I don't like this. And 48 games, 48 teams in the World Cup is absolutely ludicrous. There's not 48 good teams. There's not. No. It's just too much. It's just more. It's more of an opportunity for the sport to just be better. To stop all the corrupt federations putting money in their back pocket once their youth teams do well.
Yeah.
Bribing their youth players to give them some money so they can potentially play in the next tournament where they're going to be seen by European teams, and actually put that money back into the federation and rebuild. That's what you got to do. So yeah.
And just for context, England have lost 4 qualifiers in the last 30 years and are unbeaten and this is Euro and World Cup qualifier. Unbeaten. Oh no, so this is just World Cup. Past 30 years, they've lost 4 qualifiers. They're unbeaten since 2009 in World Cup qualifiers. And in the last 30 years, Spain have lost once and Germany twice in qualifiers.
So they're teams that should be in that final stage.
Yeah.
They're teams that should be in that final. Like you don't want a World Cup without these teams at the end of the day.
No.
You don't. I remember when there's a World Cup without an Italy, yeah, I know. They ain't been in great form, but they should be in it. They should be in it.
So you stick to that. You have the if you're in the top 16, you're through, and the rest have to battle it out. And you knock it back down to 32 teams as well. No, it's 48 malarkey. So
yeah. Oh, back in my day, it was
straight
knockout. Straight knockout. Then it's group stage. If you play Czechoslovakia and you lose, you're out. You're going home. You're out. Just on the England team, we saw a couple of new additions. Elliot Anderson getting a game, playing really, really well for England. Is there anyone in the Premier League you think may have a shout for that England squad? May or not be in this latest squad, but you think could have the nod for the World Cup?
Oh, do you know what? I don't know who was fully in that squad, to be quite honest. Let me just bring it up because there's a couple, obviously. Did Conor Gallagher, was he in the team?
I don't think he was.
So Conor Gallagher definitely. I think like if they're looking for that holding midfield, Elliot Anderson style. I mean, look, to be fair, I had to really be like, who was that to start with? Like I realised as soon as it was, I saw Anderson, who?
Yeah,
And then
he
I
was
was like, no,
really
he's done
good.
well. He's done very well, very well. So yeah, I think Rashford was in. It was decent to see. I'll be surprised to see if Rashford's there at the tournament. It depends because he's not ripping up in Spain right now.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see. Obviously, I presume Alexander-Arnold will go as well because he wasn't in the squad, was he? So you've got to presume he'll go. But apart from that, England at the moment is pretty. Yes, I'm just looking through this.
Yeah, we
Dan
had
Burn,
James Trafford, Pickford, Henderson in goal. Dan Burn, Mark Gay. Rhys James was really good as well. Konza, Lewis Skelly, Livramento, Gerald Kwanzaa, Angie Konza, Gerald Kwanzaa. I swear, this is a time for any rappers out there to do an England rap for the World Cup. You got it there. Angie Konza, Gerald Kwanzaa, Jet Spence. Oh, that's me done. I'll stop there. Elliot Anderson, Jordan Henderson, Loftus-Cheek, Rice, Morgan Rogers, Bowen, Eza, Gordon, Kane, Madueke, Rashford, and Watkins. And I just want to say now, and this is no hate against this player, yeah, but just looking at his picture, is Anthony Gordon possibly one of the most overrated players in the Premier League? I don't know why I'm saying unsolicited hate right now, and I'm not trying to be a hater, but it just reminded me of the hype that comes around Anthony Gordon anytime you mention his name to anyone, and it's just like
I don't see it, bro.
How good is he?
Not. I'm sorry, I just don't think he's that great. I don't get the hype around him. I haven't watched loads and loads of him, but every time I do, I'm fully underwhelmed.
He's ratty. He's busy. He's like But again, I don't want to do this. Those players would tend to a penny back in the day. Remember players like Rule Fox, Jamie Lawrence. Like, do you remember? Like, busy, quick. Like,
if you're talking about players back in the day, like people will be like, "Oh, like you're nostalgia." You're talking about Rule Fox, thinking of Spurs. How much better a player was Darren Anderton than Anthony Gordon? Like,
okay. Here's one. Let's play the game. Better or worse than Anthony Gordon?
Yeah.
Stuart Downing.
Yeah, definitely better. Although didn't he do some naughty stuff, Stuart Downing? Should I be saying that?
Whoa. We're talking about the artiste, not the crime. All right. I didn't say Adam Johnson, did I? I said.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Don't do that, Stuart Downing. Stuart Downing may have struck his wife allegedly. It didn't. I'm joking. He didn't. But we're not talking about Adam Johnson right now.
It wasn't what I was thinking of. Yeah, sorry. That is exactly what I was thinking of. Sorry, Stuart, mate.
Don't do that to Stuart Downing. Don't do that. No. Hey, Stuart Downing, better or worse than Anthony Gordon?
Yeah, better for me. Better. Definitely.
Ashley Young, better or worse than Anthony Gordon?
Oh, by far better. Ashley Young is by far better, mate. Yeah, definitely. Like, it's not even close. Ashley Young, like today, would be like prime Ashley Young as he leaves Villa for Man United. That first year at Man United, 2 years where he's still like a pacey attacking winger instead of a right back. Like you'd be waxing lyrical about him. It'd be worth 100 mil. So I'm thinking Man United did. Like I've got like Anthony Gordon's probably just a little bit better than like Luke Chadwick. Like pacey, got the ball, can dribble, can shoot. You know, I'm not playing. Yeah, I ain't playing. I really don't like Anthony Gordon.
Joe Cole.
Oh, please,
can you imagine a Joe Cole now? This is what I mean. Like the way people talk about Anthony Gordon, because I mean this genuinely. Like when Arsenal play Newcastle, Anthony Gordon turns up. Yeah, he then decides to start playing, and it's a good game. When we come off, I hear Arsenal fans turn around and go, well, when you've got to deal with two world-class players, like, is that... Whoa. Pause.
Whoa, no. Yeah. He's a very upright player. Right, there's no talk about it.
Sterling.
Anthony Gordon is so far from world class; it's incredible. Like there's not even going. Like for me, he shouldn't be in the England team. Like Noni Madueke, not just because you're an Arsenal, but like for me, is a much better player, a much better player than Anthony Gordon. So
Aaron Lennon.
Yes. Yeah, much better. Much better. Aaron Lennon's much better. Come on now. But this is what I mean. I don't have again, Man United. Like how much he is better, but how much better is he than Dan James? Like really? Like how much better is he? Like he's not that much better. I'm sorry, Newcastle fans.
Better than current wingers like Jared Bowen.
Nah, Jared Bowen's better. Jared Bowen's got more about his game, I think. Yeah, he's more rapid. I'll give him that. He's faster than Jared Bowen probably, but no, Jared Bowen's got far more strings to his bow.
I do not rate Anthony Gordon very highly, but here come on, and the press will talk about him like he's the new potential game changer, and then you bring him on, it's like, nah, he's not, nah. Yeah, we could do that all day.
Yeah, no. But back to your original question of the players. I've just brought out a few names. I was thinking, like, having a look, and there's some. Do you know what? We've got some talent coming through. There's no two ways about that. We have got some talent coming through. So I think Ethan Nwaeri definitely should be, if he's getting his minutes this year, should be on the cusp of it. Definitely.
Got a goal for the under 21 today.
Yeah, I think if Tyler Dibbing does well for Everton, I'm still like he's another Anthony Gordon for me. I don't see the hype around him, but we'll see. I think Everton got a good bit of business done there, considering people were talking 80 mil for him at one point. Archie Gray, obviously, I was a big fan of Archie Gray before he joined Spurs, and possible Alex Scott at Bournemouth, another one that maybe if he gets his. Is he even English, actually? Yeah, he is English. Yeah. If he gets his game up, he gets his minutes up. Jack Hinshelwood at Brighton, another one to watch out for. Mate. These are more the young. I think the main dudes will be there, you know what I mean? But once yes, Alex Scott, Lewis Miley. I hate to be picking on Newcastle, but that's another one where I'm a bit like, I don't know much. Like, I ain't seen much from him that makes me think that he's
that's another Chelsea buy, wasn't it? Yeah. And then they sold him to Newcastle. He's a good player. He's a good player. He's very much reminds me of Livramento.
It's another one that should be going in my mind. Definitely, Livramento should be going. I think he's
he's in the squad at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah. And what's the Man City one that's getting a bit of stick at the moment? But I'd take him just because he can play in a few positions. He's got my surname, so I should know. Rico Lewis. It all depends on how they do this year, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, it really does depend on how they do this year, all of these names, to see how they do. So, but yeah, England could, you know what I mean, have a nice young team, like packed with the experienced like first team and some good solid. Like, and before anyone says no, Max Dowman should not be going. Under 21s. Next competition, maybe he'll be 17. He's had a couple of years. We'll see how he does. Was Lewis Skelly in the squad last night?
Yeah.
So he's going again. Versatility. When you go into a big competition, you need that versatility. So someone like Lewis Skelly who can play left back, centre mid, left wing, perfect. Someone like Ethan Nwaeri who can play right wing, left wing, through middle, quality. Someone like Hinshelwood can play centre back, DM. Like right back, excellent. You know what I mean? The same with Rico. Like you need those as your backup players in my mind. You can have your starting 11, and this is again a reason why I'd be like Anthony Gordon possibly shouldn't be going. If Marcus Rashford does well, and you're taking him, and you're already taking Eze, and you're taking Madueke, you're taking Foden, Jack Grealish will be a shout come the end of the year as well, depending on how he does.
Yeah, he's 3 assists already.
Four assists, mate. Yeah, for Everton. So yeah. Like it's a good headache to have for Tuchel. It's a good headache to have. But yeah, is there anyone standing out for you? I mean, I've named half of England, so
yeah. No, look, I would have said Jack Grealish because he's just a different type of player than what England have got at all. Very cultured, and I think being away from Man City and being somewhere where he has a little bit more freedom, which you've already seen already, his game will get back to the old Grealish. But I think it would improve. It'd be the improved Grealish because he's had that bit too much discipline the other way. So hopefully he'll find a happy ground. And I think we see a really good player this year, which I think we've seen already. Outside of that, I like the shout of Ethan Nwaeri, especially if he gets enough game time. I think if he matures enough, which you're seeing already, he can play in a couple of good positions. And I think, like I said, if he does mature enough by the end of the season, has enough game time, I think he's the kind of player that you could bring off the bench that could create something out of nothing and do something a little bit special. And I think you do need him players, which is, I think, why you should completely ignore the Max Dowman shouts and look at Ethan Wanyeri as that player who could potentially be that. The other players in the under-21s, the Diblins and stuff like that, again, I don't think they're as impactful as much as a Wanyeri coming off the bench. I think they're very good players, but I'd have to see a lot more of them over the season for the likes of Everton. Taking anyone out of the team, I don't know. I like Rodgers. Ruben Loftus-Cheek's another good player.
I don't think you see. I don't think you see either in there.
Huh?
I don't think you see Henderson definitely out. That's what I mean.
Yes, I mean, I don't think there's a need for a Jordan Henderson now.
No.
Like, do we really need that player that's going to bring the team together or hype them up with that team talk? I think that should be put on the shoulders of other players, the younger players in the squad, and they should take it upon themselves to start doing that now. Look, you've still got a Harry Kane in the team. He's enough of a senior figure that's been there before. Marcus Rashford's been there before. Watkins has been at tournaments now. And the majority of these clubs, teams, players have as well. You've got Declan Rice, who's a big leader, a big voice in the team. I don't necessarily think you need a Jordan Henderson. So if I was going to bring a midfielder in, I would say a Wanyeri for the Jordan Henderson, but then you've still got more room for that squad. I think you've probably got two more players that you can add to that 22 at the moment. Can you use it? Is it 20? Is it 20? I mean,
no, I think it's got up, isn't it? I think it was 23. It was 23, but you had to have 3 goalkeepers. I think it's gone up to 25, but you've got to have 3 goalkeepers, so it's 22 first teamers. I don't think you see a Loftus-Cheek or a Rodgers in the team for the World Cup when you're bringing back players like Foden. If they perform, you're bringing back the Grealish.
The Foden one, if I'm Foden, I'd be worried. Honestly, he's had a poor season last season.
He needs to perform.
He's not really been playing much. Has he been injured this season? He's started.
I believe so. You're coming back. Coming back from it.
So I don't know.
And the tournament last time as well. Remember,
the tournament would have been a massive eye opener for a lot of people. 2 tournaments he hasn't really performed in now. And that first one, I think, where he'd done all his hair up and there was a lot of hype around him and he was going to be the Gaza, the new hope. And he didn't do anything. I think he tried too hard. And in the last tournament, where off the back of having a really good season in the season before, he was just really disappointing. And I think even to his standards, whether you're playing out of position or what, but even because I think he should be playing at number 10 and potentially under Tuchel, he will get opportunity. You've still got to do better than what he did for England. He was so poor. So poor.
I think he had one good half, didn't he? Was it the semi-final? He had a good half in the semi, but apart from that, he was awful for it.
But I do think these tournaments are made. There's like tournament players now. Tournaments. I think, especially with England, I think you've got to be playing to the way English play. Pacey wingers, just constantly bombarding the penalty box and the fullbacks, constantly on top of them. Play the English way. And you've got to have them nippy wingers, them skillful wingers. Foden at being that sort of slow it down, play it inwards, and playing a bit tiki-taka off the wing. It doesn't suit the way we play, and it doesn't suit.
Especially with Harry Kane. With Harry Kane dropping so deep all the time, they were getting in each other's way in the last tournament a lot. So I think if Foden does well, he still goes. Obviously, Cole Palmer still goes. This is what I mean about. I think you don't see the Loftus-Cheeks, the Rodgers of the world in that tournament squad. A couple of defenders, I definitely Ben White. I would definitely get on the phone and start having conversations about, because again, versatility. And the one that I think is always grossly overlooked is Tyrick Mitchell at Crystal Palace. I think he's
cool up, isn't he?
He's had 2 caps back in 2021, I think it was.
Oh, really?
But apart from that, apart from that, like, he doesn't even get into the squad, and it's weird. You know what I mean? I think he's a quality player, like a quality player. So I'd like to see him there as well. So, but Ben White, I definitely would, because he's already said he would come back, hasn't he? Now, as I understand it,
Which is good. Yeah. Look, we knew there was issues before, and some people don't agree with it, but I don't think it benefits anyone having a player that's unhappy in the squad being around it. But the decision was probably best for both parties. If there's tension in the air with a coach in the team and the player doesn't feel comfortable, how are you going to get the best out of that player? So there's no point in being there. But it was disappointing not to have Ben White in the team, especially over the seasons that he'd had, and he didn't weren't available for selection. But look, he's one of the best right backs in the league. If you've got him, Reece James, I thought Reece James was really good. I think Reece James is the best English right back we've got. I would say.
Yeah. Shadow of a doubt, he's different. He is the
he's a powerhouse, but he's also that traditional fullback as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I'd honestly play Ben White as a centre back. I really would. Like have him, like you bring him in but your backup right back, because you're going to have Reece James, you're going to have Trent, and like you have him as that. I think he's such a good player. I think I'd have him over Konza, to be quite honest with you. And whether Gahey's that much better than him or not is a question for people to argue amongst themselves. But I don't think there's much in it between them two. I really don't think there's much in it between them two. So, yeah. I just like I say, I think you need versatility in this team. I think one outside Man United hat on, if he gets his minutes this year and performs well, his talent is undeniable. But he needs to perform is Kobe Mainoo. That's someone you'll probably see left out in the cold for this tournament. But it depends, obviously, if he gets his minutes or not. If he gets his minutes and performs,
do you stick him in the under-21 squad?
100%. Of course you do. Like 100%. If he's not going like right now, 100% you do.
Yeah.
He's got to work his way back up. And this is what the problem I've got with players right now. It used to be an honour. Even if you had a cap for England, you went back. I remember James Milner going back to the under-21s to break the record or whatever it was after he'd had a cap. You know what I mean? Things like that. So it shouldn't be seen as a demotion. There's only so many spots available. What it means is you're not performing at the level that the other people are at the moment. So get your game up. Go and help the under-21s. I mean, Kobe Mainoo's only 19, I think, isn't he?
Yeah.
20 at most. So, yeah, go back and help the under-21s, for goodness sake. You know what I mean? Like, win something with them. You know what I mean? Get some more experience. Go to a tournament. Be the senior player there. Lead the England under-21s. Be the captain that takes them out onto the pitch, sort of flex. Like, so, but he's got.
Why do you think that's not done more often? And why do you think it is seen as a demotion? Because it was something that Arsene Wenger said years ago about Theo Walcott being called up to the England team. He didn't like it when he was pulled back into the under-21s team. And it would make him feel like they've been dropped once they've potentially made it into the first team. What's that line of thinking? Why do you think there was that way of thinking anyway? Do you think that's still the case of how people feel now?
Yeah, of course it is, and that's what I mean. That stigma needs to be eradicated, because it shouldn't be. That's what I'm saying. It should be like. Now, this is the plus for having the games like against Andorra. Yeah, you got called up for Andorra, but that's Andorra, mate. We're now playing Italy. You're not at that level yet. We've brought you up to show you the scene, show you what it is, come training with the first team, and now you're going to go back down to the under-21s and take what you've learned. Take what you've learned from this experience over these two games, back to the under-21s, and lead. That's what I'm saying. Be a senior member of the under-21s. But yeah, I mean, I get it, because I suppose you think you've made it once you get your first call up, but like I say, there's only 11. The bottom line is there's 11 players on the pitch. There's only 25 spots or 23 spots, whatever it is. You can't be like we've got more. We're again at a great position. We've got more than enough good players to fill all those spots. Like we're talking about maybe not taking Phil Foden 2 years ago. That would have been like you know what I mean. Yeah, we're talking about Marcus Rashford maybe not going 2 years ago. It would have been incredible to think about. You know, there's players like listen. Danny Welbeck, for instance. Yeah, he's 35. He scored like 13 Premier League goals last year. It's not even in contention for the team. We've got loads of players. I'm not saying Danny Welbeck should be in the team. I'm just saying there are a Danny Welbeck even for a Finland or not Slovakia, because obviously that's Sesko, but a Slovenia or a Bosnia. He's still playing international football. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say that to you. Like, do you think coaches should? Because there is definitely a thing like that. Coaches kind of have a cut-off point. You're not going to get into the team because you are this age, or I don't see the future for you in the England team. Should they be thinking that way? Should they be going to hear it now? Because we've seen clubs like the Italian teams where they will take an established player. They will take a player that hasn't really had any international football, but at the age of 30, he ends up banging 25 goals in Serie A. So he gets that one season. I think Luca Toni was one where he come from the leagues below, and he was a late bloomer, and then he ended up lighting up the world for a good few seasons in the end.
Yeah, I think there's also a thing with the small club mentality as well. He's like Tyreek Mitchell's playing for Palace, so he doesn't get a look in. You know, Chrissy Powell, when he played for Charlton, finally got his look in.
He was
free, you know, what I mean? And he should have been there years ago. Years before he got his call out. So I think there's a bit of that there. I also think there's a bit of that as well. I don't think you should be worried about. I don't think you should be worried about the future when you go into a tournament. It should be, and I've said this all along. I said it last tournament. It should be the 25 best players that you've got right in form. Not on what they possibly could bring. You know what I mean? Like when we took Theo Walcott and he didn't get a game. Like when we took Kobe Mano and that was mental. I know he got game time, but he shouldn't have been getting game time. You take the 25 best players around, no matter age, no matter who they're at. You know what I mean? Like, so you're starting to see like Lewis Dunk's getting his minutes. But yeah, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think who was in, like Harry Maguire should not have been in that England team for a good couple of years. For a couple of years, shouldn't have been in that England team. It was disgrace, especially when you got who was the one at AC Milan, and he weren't getting minutes, and he was ripping up in Italy. Tomori, well, you got Tomori, you got Harry Maguire in the worst patch of performance. Like, so yeah, I don't think you should be worrying about the future at all. That's the under 21's job. Like, you should be picking the best 25 players who have played the best that season before you go to a tournament. You know. So personally, anyway, listen, I'm obviously not an international manager. I'm sure there's other things factors you got to take into it. Personalities probably are something you got to take into it as well, I suppose. But for me, it's pretty simple. Like, you take whoever's the best at the time.
And quickly before we move on, back on the Kobe Mainu. Do we learn lessons on the Kobe Mainu situation? Not just us as football fans, coaches, but probably mainly the press, on how much they bigged up Kobe Mainoo. They were urging that Kobe Mainoo had to be a star and would be an England legend and would be an England player for years. And if he's this good now, and should we be like tampering that excitement of the players and not build up too much hype around him and potentially not put pressure on these coaches to potentially play? Because that's one thing that England have always had. They've always had that, felt like they've had that pressure from the press and the media to pick certain players. And Kobe Mainoo, I felt, was one of those players that the hype around him before the European Championships 2 years or a year and a half ago was absolutely crazy. Like, Kobe Mainoo this, Kobe Mainoo mania. And now he can't even get into the Man United squad.
Yeah, listen, I believe that you can probably go back and find some of the streams where I was like, calm it down, Pete, like, calm it. Like, he's a good player, but this is the problem, because we bigged him up, and now people are talking about him like he's a flop. He's 19 years old.
Yeah.
But this should be the time where he's coming through. Yeah. There was no need for him to be in that England team. There was no need for it. You know what I mean? I forget who else was about at that moment in time, but he should be learning his game right now. He should be getting 25 starts, 20 starts this season.
Yeah,
it should be a rotation player. It shouldn't be an all or nothing. And obviously, it's gone to his head as well, because he's now like, I want to leave. It's like, I want to leave. I'm not getting enough minutes. And you're like, bro. Yeah. And this is the thing I was saying, like, with Arsenal fans and the English media about Max Dowman. Calm it down, because you've already got Ethan Nwaneri. He needs his minutes. Yeah. He needs his minutes. You know. And I was having a talk with a friend of ours, and when I was saying that he should have come on for Dowman against Liverpool instead of Dowman, he's like, nah. What does he care about 3 minutes, 5 minutes? Like, that's a mentality of someone who's not a sub. I've been a sub for a long time, and trust me, every minute counts. Every single minute counts. It really does. Like, it don't matter. It really, like, sometimes you might be afraid a little paddy because you think you should have come on earlier, but it's very few people I've seen. There are a couple who will walk away and be like, "Nah, ain't worth it. Ain't worth my time." Rubbish to you, because that's what happened to me a couple of once before, and I got
look at that villain origin laugh as he looks into the distance through the camera, burning the retinas, mate. Jesus, that went into a deep dark place there, guys.
No, it was someone else. They refused to come on, and so I came on instead of them. And I scored the winning goal of the game. Like, that's what happens. Every minute counts, man. So yeah, like you've got to be careful with wishing these young players, hyping them up too early when they can't perform. They're not good. They're not miracle workers. Like, however good Bauman is, he's still 15 years old, man. However good Mano was, he was still 17 years old, man. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be putting this pressure on players. It can make or break them. And you've got other players who will be like, excuse me, hold up a minute. You know what I mean? Why is he getting these minutes? I'm next in line.
Yeah.
There's no reason I shouldn't be next in line.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing when I talk about protecting the players. Kobe Manu was a prime example of what I'm talking about. And a lot of people are very dismissive about when I say protect players. No, he's all right. Or they read into it wrong or what I'm saying. Chill out. He's only had 5 minutes. What do you expect him to do? Like, that's not what I'm saying. You've got to protect the players because look what we've seen with Kobe Manu. Kobe Manu was being hyped up to be the next big thing for England in every single England team until Kingdom Come, until he decides he's finished. Going to be a record-winning caps for England, Kobe Manu. And a year and a half later, not even a year and a half later, he's now can't get in the Man United team, can't get in the England team. What do you think that's done for his mentality by the age of 19? At 17, you were talking about him being one of the best things England have had in years. By 19, he's on a scrap heap. And the player shouldn't be going through those level of emotions about what most people haven't even achieved by now in the first place. Most players wouldn't have been to wouldn't have been to an international tournament with their country. Most players wouldn't have 5 or 6 caps for their country. But Kobe Manu's looking like at the moment it could just be could that have been his last cap? And
I think he's already got double figures as well, Kobe Manu for England. I'm sure he has.
And it's like, and you've got to understand that for a youngster, they might not be able to handle that in the same way someone at 25 will. And I think people have got to understand that it's not just a physicality thing, it's a mentality thing. It's a mentality thing. Like Garth's saying there, Ethan Mounier played 37 games last season. So he's expecting, let's say 20. He may not be 37, but it may be 20, but he gets more minutes overall because he's getting more starts, he's getting longer time on the pitch. But if he doesn't reach that, he's going to think to himself, well, what's happened now? Where are we going? I felt like I was established myself. Yeah, I probably played a little bit too much last season, but I've established myself that I'm good enough to play at this level. What am I doing wrong that I wasn't like? What did I do wrong from last season where I'm not getting as many games? You've got to think about this with the players and the young ones especially. Right now, with Max Dowman, he can afford to go back into the under-21s. It's not going to be really damaging for him because he's expected to play at that level. You can't really stick Ethan Mounier back into the under-21s anymore. That can't happen unless he's an injury. So he's going to need to get game time. So I do think you need to start worrying about thinking about these things when you are dealing with younger players. I think the press, the media need to relax themselves when they're talking about Max Dowman should be potentially a player that goes to the World Cup. It's just, look, it's good. It'll be good for him just to be around the squad. No. Because what about a senior player who worked his arse off for the last 2 years, who didn't get into the European Championship squad, who wants to be a part of the World Cup squad, that's taken by a 16-year-old who's not going to play any minutes just because he wants to be in the atmosphere. Take him to be a part of the atmosphere anyway. Take a couple of European prospects. Just bring them around the squad if you want to. They don't have to play.
No laws against them training. There's no law against them training with the squad. Do you know what I mean? And what else? They're missing out on the experience of winning stuff with the schoolboys, with the under-21s. Like, that's an experience on its own. You know what I mean? You're just going to jump straight anyway. I feel like we've had a couple. Everyone's always saying Wayne Rooney this, Wayne Rooney that, Michael Owen. Obviously, they're once in a generation, and they're different. And Michael Owen was done at 25, and Wayne Rooney was done at 30. But let's face it, was built different. That phrase was made for Wayne Rooney. That geezer was built different. I said last week, I saw this in a passport, mate. He could have passed as a 28-year-old geezer at 16. So
I watched the Wayne Rooney documentary yesterday, actually, funnily enough, from 2022, and he was nearly 17 when he had his debut for Everton against Arsenal. He was because he said on it he wanted to make sure he scored when he was 16. And he was 17 in the next game. So he said he had to score against Arsenal. And then people don't understand the difference between a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old. There's a big difference. What's the difference? And then you keep on saying his name. Messi, Ronaldo, 18, 17. And when they didn't play week in, week out in the top leagues when they were that age. They didn't.
No.
They didn't. You keep on throwing his names. Oh, you mean Yamal? Yeah, he played 3 games at the end of that season when he was 15. Dalman's starting the season, and you're talking about him playing more games throughout the season. How do you not know that's a big difference? A kid playing the 3 last games of the season and someone who's starting the season when he's 15. But it's like people ignore the big elephant in the room when we're talking about these things. Yeah. All right. Get in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Should Max Dalman potentially go to the World Cup in 2026? Who's not in the current squad that should be in the current squad, and who is in the current squad that you would kick out of this squad? So far, I think Garfi's taken out Anthony Gordon and
I'll take. Oh, listen, I'll rate him so lowly. I'll take 21 players instead of 22. Just not taking him.
Going through Gordon, Garf's like, nah, he ain't coming. I told him to stay at home. No point.
But Gaffer, we've only got 21 players. Don't care, mate. I'll put the shirt on. Get me a license, mate.
Yeah, Garf's showing his clips of his celebration, sweeping up.
Gaffer, you're 54 years old and 16 stone. Don't care, mate. Still got it in me. The knees might be shot. The brain doesn't go, lads. The brain doesn't go.
All right, we could see seeing English-Welsh international Garth Lewis on the plane to the World Cup 2022. Next up,
it'll be worse than Mike Bassett with Benson and Edges after he's done
yeah. Is it with Garth smoking a vape?
Yeah. It's just go stretch. Oh, I don't know about that, Gav. I ain't got it in me. I've
got one stretch. I could use it for a kick on goal. Your choice. Next up, multi-club ownership. Should we be allowed? The most recent absolute batshit crazy transfer that I saw was Julio Enciso. Enciso was at Brighton, a very good player, had a solid season a couple of seasons ago at Brighton, plenty of games, scoring goals, attacking midfielder, can play on the wings or up front as well. He went on loan for a season to Ipswich Town, and the next thing you know, he's on his way to Strasbourg, or is it Chelsea? Well, the deal saw Julio Enciso join Strasbourg on a season-long loan with eventually a view to join Chelsea at a later date for a fee of £22 million, I think it was, from Brighton overall. And then I don't know how much he's going to go to Chelsea for. But that was the first deal which I saw, which sort of made me not just think about the whole Chelsea multi-club ownership situation, but it just felt weird because it was the way it was sort of put out there. It was actually put out for the first time under my knowledge that it was a transfer for the Chelsea Blue Company or Chelsea Co. Blue. What they called? Blue Co.
Blue Co. Yeah,
Blue Co.
City Group. So
yeah, City. So yeah, that's the one I'm getting confused. It was the first transfer that I knew of my knowledge that had actually officially gone through as the Chelsea Blue Co. transfer. Were buying him for Strasbourg, and that's where I was just like, huh? I've not heard that before. It doesn't make sense. And then I obviously remembered the fact that Chelsea owners do own Strasbourg as well. And then we saw questions about the way that Strasbourg ended their season after an emphatic season under Liam Rossini, which saw them beat the likes of PSG, but in the end lose to the bottom 2 clubs in the league, which then allowed Chelsea to gain that Champions League spot. I'm not saying there's any wrongdoing there at all. These things happen, and it could be a massive coincidence, but it's those sorts of things where we're even looking at it with a little bit of a side eye and questioning, which questions the integrity of the sport, which I don't like. The fact that City have always, or for a while, have had a multi-club ownership, which saw them own clubs like Melbourne City FC, Mumbai City, Tokyo, and amongst others. Then it stretched into Paris FC and Troyes. And again, this is the area which I don't like. And I think we're getting into murky ground when these clubs that are owned by Premier League owners start playing in the Champions League. We saw Girona in the Champions League last season. That's owned by the City company or the City Group. And obviously the other two clubs which City own in Troyes and Locken as well, they have aspirations to get into the top leagues and get into the Champions Leagues as well. So what do we do when City potentially have 3 clubs under their umbrella in one tournament? Is that fair? Is that right? And what do we do to stop people from questioning the integrity of the sport? Garth, I know you're one that's against it. We saw Manchester United punished a couple of seasons ago with the owner, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who had ties to, Nice?
Nice,
which stops you from bringing in Jean-Claude Todibo. And it was
might have dodged the bullet, but
yeah. But it also potentially nearly got you. Was it kicked out of the Europa League? If you was both in it at the same time. How is this allowed? Why are Chelsea allowed? Why are Man City allowed in the same tournament as Girona? And do you think that, first of all, multi-club ownership should be allowed? I'm just going to get a drink.
No, absolutely not. Like, multi-club ownership shouldn't be allowed, especially with clubs within Europe. Owning each, if you own one club in Europe, you shouldn't be allowed to own any other club in Europe. Like, listen, if you want to own a League Two team, fine. Like, as well as a Premier League team, once not League Two, a second division Italian team or something. But once they get to the top league, no, you shouldn't be able to own them. If you want to own a team in India, a team in Australia as a networking thing to bring the game up in those countries, fair enough. But it brings so many questions. I mean, for a start, that Strasbourg thing, I doubt very much that Liam Rosenior purposely lost those last 2 games for Strasbourg. But the fact that they're owned by Clear Lake Capital brings this into question straight away. Because the only reason Chelsea got into the Champions League is because Strasbourg lost those last 2 games after not losing for 12 straight. You know what I mean? 3rd place, like they were going to make the Champions League, and then all of a sudden they lose 2 games. I very much doubt that they blatantly lost them just so Chelsea could get in. But you're already asking that question because of this multi-club ownership thing.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So you can't, pure and simple. If you own one club in Europe, you shouldn't be allowed to own any other club on the continent. But like I'm saying, if you want to go and if you want to go and pay to have a team in Mumbai, you want to go and pay for a team in Brazil or North America to raise the game there and use it as a scouting network to bring young talent from that country through the ranks with a view to buy them, swish. Got no problem with that whatsoever, you know what I mean? But yeah, when you got Man City owning Girona, wrong. It's just wrong. When you've got Chelsea owning Strasbourg, and I mean, we'll get into it in a minute, the financials of it, and they're buying 3 and loaning 3 of their players so that Chelsea's end of season accounts look much better because they've just got 350 grand a week wages off their book. It's unacceptable, and it reeks of corruption.
Yeah.
It reeks of, we're not going to do anything about this because it's Saudi money or Arabian money, oil money. And that's the same for Man City and for Chelsea. Yes, Todd Bowley's American, but Clear Lake Capital owned lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels by Saudi money. It's like 83% of their investment, PIF, so Public Investment Fund. So, yeah. And I mean, we're going to get into the transfers in a minute, obviously, but it's just, I couldn't agree more with everything you said. You certainly shouldn't be able to do what they're doing within CISO at all, in CISO, whatever. Like, that's ridiculous. Yeah. Well, I sent it to you, didn't I? couldn't believe it. I sent it straight through to you. I was like, oh, this is saying Chelsea Strasbourg are signing him.
Yeah. It was the Blue company, and I was like, this is going to be purchased by the Blue company. He's going to go to Strasbourg, and then he's going to go to Chelsea afterwards. Yeah. And I was just like, and what I was looking into it over the last few days about Chelsea is essentially they're doing they're doing it the way they're doing it now because you're only allowed to loan out 8 players per season. Whereas as Chelsea were the reason why they brought in that rule to only loan out 8 players, because over the last 10, 15 years, Chelsea have had 20 plus players out on loan.
It was a business model of theirs, weren't it?
5 to 8 year contracts, send them out on loan, and then hopefully they can either recoup their money with loan deals over the 5 years or sell them on if they're good enough from those loans. So the model that they've previously tried to do, they found another loophole, but this loophole just seems a lot more dodgy. I'd much rather you have stockpile of players that you're sending out 20 plus on loan per season, as opposed to you owning multiple clubs, and those players, you can sign players for clubs under the guise of that club, but it's actually for your club in the future with an easy transfer route to your club.
And blocks off anyone else getting him as well. And let's get it. Chelsea have done this with
Semedo, prime example. Like we're not just this isn't just about Chelsea, but Chelsea are the most corrupt team on the planet, and they're doing it in our faces. And I dislike them. Like I don't care. Come for me. I don't care. Like, I do not like that club.
But it's so blatant what they're doing as well. And Ciso is a talent. He's 21, but he was injured last season. So what they want is they don't want his wages on the book, because that means PSR. So they've bought him. Todd Bowley's bought him for Strasbourg, so he can do his rehabilitation here in France. Let's see how he does, and we'll buy him in a year later, and that's a year's wages we ain't got to pay. It's clear as day what they're up to. People can say, listen, it's legal. What they're doing isn't wrong. Marrying your cousin is legal in this country. It don't make it right.
We go, love that.
It don't make it right.
Love that cleanest.
It's still morally grey and unacceptable. So
it's not grey. It's wrong. It's wrong.
It's just wrong.
Kids are going to have an extra toe and an eye hanging out of their ear. So don't.
So
all right, Mary Jane. No. Look, there's a lot of wrong with it. And we're going to have a little look into some of the transfer dealings that we noticed already. Like when we're speaking on the phone during my holiday, actually, funny enough, so it never switches off. And I just thought to myself, as we was talking about this whole Chelsea and Strasbourg thing, let's look at some of Strasbourg's latest transfers. But now look at Strasbourg's transfers. Payaz from Chelsea on a loan deal. Penders from Chelsea on a loan deal. Mamadou Sarr from Chelsea on a loan deal. Ben Chilwell, another player from Chelsea on loan deal. Player on 200 grand a week. A player who's had an injury woes, and you just managed to get him off your books and off your wages for a season. And it's just, for me, I don't like it. It absolutely stinks. There was another player, I think, that they brought in from Nottingham Forest. 10 mil from Nottingham Forest. I'm just like, that's another team that's in that sort of, does Mr. Marinakis, sorry, I have to apologise prior to this, Mr. Marinakis. I'm not putting your name in vain, or there's no blasphemy, Mr. Marinakis. I just want to say there's no hate against you or all your family, Mr. Marinakis. Hands on the table, Mr. Marinakis. Does he still own Olympiacos?
Oh, Marinakis? I don't know. Presume so. I'll just quickly bring that out.
Yeah, we won't make any accusations, Mr. Marinakis, before we find out the facts of that. But yeah,
I think it'll be one of them ones where he's put it into a trust or something like that, if you know what I mean.
A trust, which he has no say on, and you see how he reacts with his no say at at Nottingham Forest, or is it he has no say at Nottingham Forest? President.
It's the bit I've got in front of me says he's still president
of Olympiacos.
Yeah,
and what he's doing at Forest is he's a non. It's the Forest.
He's a majority shareholder at Nottingham Forest. So he's not a CEO, really. He's just a majority shareholder. So I'm guessing a bit like, was it Stan Kroenke at Arsenal?
Yeah. And it's Josh Kroenke that's probably the one that's the voice of it. Look, it's all a bit dodgy. I do not like it. The way that Chelsea are allowed to take players off their books. I didn't like it with the friends with benefits with the Saudi Arabian teams, but this one with Strasbourg is straight line to. It's for me. This is like on Football Manager when you used to have two teams and to get rid of the players of the teams, the dead weight, but still bring a decent transfer fees. You used to buy all these players with your other team. And then you used to do it at a reasonable price. If anyone came over and saw that you'd be able to get rid of these players and where they're gone, they wouldn't really question it because you sold that player for 9 million, not 99 mil. So that you transfer.
Is that when they sold it 12
you
times?
Sold all your players to Anderlecht. And Real Betis.
Players this summer.
That's
the Ben Chilwell one for me, kid. That's pure and simple what the Ben Chilwell one is. It's a disgrace. That gives him 200 grand a week at Chelsea.
Yeah.
No one wants Ben Chilwell. He hasn't played a game of football in like 4 years. He's been injured forever. So what's happening here? Strasbourg, as if Todd Bowley has paid off Ben Chilwell and he's gone to Strasbourg and he's getting paid by Todd Bowley there instead. And now it's off Chelsea's books. It's cooking the books, pure and simple. Like I say, listen, Chelsea fans will be arguing that there's nothing wrong, just like when they sold hotels to themselves, just like when they sold their women's team to themselves. Like they'll be like, "Well, it's all in the law. Don't care." What we're talking about, what we're talking about now is a corruption of the sport, a corruption of the game, and you're taking the piss. And like, what if anyone could listen? Man United spend a lot of money. We make that money. We don't sell. Literally, Alexander Garnacho was our third biggest sale of all time. 40 million. You know what I mean? Like the other day. So it's crazy. I don't want to hear about it. It's unacceptable. UEFA have already stepped in on the Chelsea and Villa cooking the books by doing the player merry-go-round.
Oh, they found out. They've
both been given a warning, but that's it. A slap on the wrist warning about it. So that's going to stop, you see. I think that was a couple of months ago. I don't know if it was an official warning or it was just lads, we can see what you're doing. Like we can see what you're doing here.
Yeah, UEFA fires warning to Chelsea and Aston Villa over player swap deal after the Premier League duo brought. Yeah, financial fair. No. I called that out when it happened. I called it out when it happened. Yeah. Chuck Wemmer was one of the brightest stars in the FA Youth Cup 4 years ago. Tore it up. Had an absolute sensational tournament. It was absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Off the back of that, he was looking like he was going to get into the Aston Villa squad as a youngster. Chelsea then snapped him up. And at the time, I thought to myself, cool, that's a big fee for him. What's the point in going Chelsea? He ain't going to get game time. He needs to play. Next thing you know, Villa are buying a player for Chelsea for 24 mil. The Madsen one, but if you work out the fee that Villa have paid, no, that's it. The fee that Chelsea paid for Killiman and Chukwuemeka works out to the same fee as Madsen. And other than what?
Yes.
I was like,
so blatant.
Disgraceful.
Yeah.
It was so obvious for me at the time. I was like, nah. And I can always see when I'm like, well, that's a dodgy sale because we've never seen that player before. We've not heard any hype around him, and someone's paying upwards of 8 to 10 mil for him. He's paid how long? 14 minutes for the first team. Watch in the next year or so, Villa are going to buy a player back of Chelsea. It's going to swap the money around. It's disgraceful. Yeah, and the fact that they've given them a warning means they know they've done wrong there. They know they've done wrong, but they don't want to call it out because they know it's a serious breach. If you do, because whatever you want to say, no, it's just no. You're cooking the books. You're cheating.
Yeah, it's making a mockery of it. It's making a mockery of the rules.
It is. It's a disgrace, and I think they should have come down a bit harder on them. I think they should. I know people will moan and say, but I don't. If you're breaking rules so much that fans are seeing it in front of their eyes and going, "Am I the only one that's seeing this?" It's not even clever. It's just a blatant disregard. I think
they've got to get the rules tight, but I think these footballing associations, be it UEFA, be it the FA, have also got to worry that they're going to get sued. Like Man City are suing the FA right now. They come to an agreement today, didn't they, over third-party ownership or whatever. It's a bit convoluted what it was, but like they're getting sued for it. So look, bottom line for me, mate, it's a very simple thing. You can have multi-club ownership, 0 transfers are allowed. If there's any kind of conflict of interest with your team and this team, no transfer between the clubs. Youth loans, like back in the day when Man United used to send players to Antwerp, and you had I always forget the Belgian
team.
It was like a partnership.
Partnership,
yeah. Like apart from that, no transfers. Period. Like literally, and because it cleans it up immediately. It cleans it up immediately. Like and Man City are the same. Obviously, with like we said, Savino. Man United got Nice. It isn't just Chelsea, but Chelsea are the ones who are out there just thinking like, yeah, look, all right, maybe it is clever, but it's also absolutely disgusting. There's no two ways about it. It's absolutely you're cooking the books. How the hell have Chelsea got the highest amount of money to spend? They've got the furthest away from PSR breach of any club when they've spent £2 billion in the last 24
months. No. It's less than Arsenal's net spend over the last 10 years. Like that's what it is. Like how much have you spent in this transfer window? Less than Arsenal's net spend over the last 10 years? Because that's what we do nowadays. Liverpool, how much have you spent in this transfer market? We've spent 200 million net spend. No, but how much did you actually spend? Net spend is less than Arsenal. Could you just answer the question? Could you just answer the question?
Yeah. Or throw the rules out the window and just let clubs spend what they want. Pure, like that. You can't be pretending that there's legislation. I don't think that should happen, Keir. I'm just saying. But you can't have these like you're looking like fools. FA, UEFA, FIFA. You're looking like fools. Either throw them out and just let clubs get on with it, or enforce these rules. Enforce them, because what Chelsea are doing, which is far more worse than any other club, is taking the piss, pure and simple. And look, me and you, mate, both of us, like, we ain't no financial experts, we ain't auditors.
Yeah.
I'm horrific at maths.
Yeah, we're not investigative journalists.
Yeah, I am horrific at maths, and if I can see that you're cooking the books just from City and Bournemouth, then like actual FA, financial investigators, you know what I mean, should be able to figure it out and sue and punish them. But
I looked all this up while I was on the way to the beach on the coach. And a 20-minute journey on the coach. And I was like, this don't seem right. How is Strasbourg buying this player? Oh, Chelsea. Here's one for you, Lloyds. Let's just say they're going to allow it. It's not going to change. Do your club get involved in it? And are you okay with that one? If Chelsea are doing it and Man City are doing it, are you saying, okay, if you can't beat them, join them, you're urging your club to do it, even though you're against it?
Again, a bit like I'm in a very privileged position as a Man United fan. We rake in Betwich, you know what I mean? Like Jim Ratcliffe can give it all we're broke all he wants. Man United still had, I think, the third highest turnover in world football last year or whatever it was. So no, for Man United, no. I think you stand strong and you make a point of it. But look, there comes a point with everyone. Like, eventually, if nothing's going to be done with it, you do. You know what I mean? I'm already saying, like, listen, clubs should be selling right now. Every club should be investigating whether they can sell the women's teams to themselves, whether they can sell their car parks to themselves, whether they can, because everyone needs the money to do things with it. But I would rather we didn't, obviously. But there will come a point where you've got to just to keep up with this. I mean, listen, go like Jim Ratcliffe, go and buy a few more teams. You know what I mean? Go and buy a Lecce. Go and buy an Eibar in Spain. You know what I mean? Go and buy a Vicenza. You know what I'm saying? Go and buy these teams so that we've got them as well. Yeah. I'd rather we didn't, but
but that's what I was saying. Forget about the financial aspect. Obviously, the financial aspect is big, but we're not talking about cooking the books in terms of I just want to get rid of my players off the books and I'm working out loopholes to get off an aging player on 200 grand a week that no one wants because he's got an injury record the size of Santa's Christmas list. Like, we're not talking about that, but we're talking about you potentially being able to, let's say you buy a club in Portugal. You can buy a Premier League club in Portugal, one of the smaller ones, and you can get Brazilian players and South American players to that club, which then it allows you to bring those younger quality players in. They get game time in Europe. They can come to your club. You've got a streamline of players to that. Not less so I'm doing it to get players off my books to send over there. Also an opportunity to get some of you youth players playing in European leagues, in different countries and different environments, do it more in that way? Do you look at it in that way and that say, do you know what? Okay, we're not going to potentially do it because of cook the books like Chelsea are doing, blatant disregard the rules, but maybe a little bit more like what Man City are doing, where you're seeing them do it a lot more. Where because they even had the likes of who's the player for it was at Leeds, Everton, the winger, Leeds, Everton,
Somerville.
not
No,
Somerville. It's gonna kill me. Well, Man City had a player who was at their American team, New York, and he went to Leeds in the end. Went back to City. Leeds bought him, and then it was at Everton. It's really going to bug me. But yeah, do you take that up? Do you take the opportunity to do that?
Yeah, you do. I prefer it like we used to do it. Like Man United used to have like I was saying, you had Antwerp. Like Man United, that's how we got Cristiano Ronaldo, because we had links with Sporting Lisbon. Like we played them in a friendly every year. You know what I mean? Like, and you send players on loan there.
Yeah, I love that used to be the way where you had your connections. Was we're playing in a friendly every year. Yeah. Like you could get a player, and then on the part of the transfer fee was, you get this player in a friendly.
Generate
money.
Yeah, generate something. Like I prefer them sort of. The ways is it? I'm looking. You got me looking for this player. Was it Jack Harrison?
Jack, oh my god! I was sweating, dude. Just like, come on.
But listen, yes and no, because the problem is if I say it opens us up to the same fraud that Chelsea are committing, and I shouldn't call it fraud, alleged fraud that Chelsea are committing, because that's what happens, isn't it? If the next Cristiano Ronaldo comes through Sporting, like, and you've got that link with them, or you want to, like you say, a Brazilian like a Savino, or the next, Diego Leon that Man United just got from Paraguay, and he ain't got the work permit, then you're going to start doing, or you need to get Onana off the books. So we just give him I'd rather we didn't care. I won't lie, but I mean, obviously, if they're not going to close these loopholes, then you're going to have to. You're going to have to. Like in clubs, but that's just going to put the little clubs out, because there's no way. Not a Forest can a minute, but like a Brighton can go out and buy another team, whoever owns Brighton. You know what I mean? Whereas the big teams, the people with money, can go and buy loads of other teams. So, no, I stick with no team should be allowed to buy another team in Europe, personally.
In Europe, I was going to say, because I think a Brighton could go out and let's just say they can go and get an Ecuadorian team. They can go and get
that's not 100. And I think clubs should be looking at doing that as well.
Remember the old Premiership manager, where you can have camps
the scout camp and everything.
Into a bigger thing.
Yeah, it's a football team. Yeah, exactly. And clubs that's what Premier League clubs should be looking at. But the problem is they won't, because there's no return on that investment. Yeah. That's the problem. There's no money to be made from that, apart from maybe you'll get a player from there. You know what I mean? And let's face it, how often is there a Paraguayan player come through that is good enough to come to a Premier League team? It's rare. How often is there an Ecuadorian? Like Brazil's different. Brazil and Argentina are different. But the rest of South America, you know what I mean? What was the last Peruvian? Nobby Solano. Like you know what I mean? Like so on and so forth. So yeah, I just don't think clubs should be allowed to buy anything in Europe. I think UEFA should step in and make Chelsea and City and United and whoever else done it sell their teams. You can have that's it. You can own one club, and if there's any conflict of interest, a bit like Palace with whoever his other team is, like I don't care if you put it into a trust, you're still getting money from it. You cannot transfer between these clubs. So Chelsea cannot transfer between Strasbourg and Chelsea. City cannot make transfers between Girona and them. Like, period. Like, I'm sure there'll be some other way they work it out. The Girona sell them to another club and you buy it, but that's for the auditors to work out. But if you've got any kind of interest in another club in Europe, you cannot buy or sell players to that club, period. Because it takes all the ambiguity out of it, mate, don't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Arsenal had links to Brevin, and Brevin had links to an Ivory Coast team, which was able to snap up the same team that had Aboué and Yaya Toure.
Yeah, there you go. You know what I mean? But that was different. That is how you did it, because the Brevin did. You went and played them in a friendly. You know what I mean? And I could talk about Antwerp. Man United would loan Ronnie Woolwork to Antwerp, and he'd have a season in Antwerp where he actually played football. I think Ryan Shawcross might have gone there as well. You know what I mean? And these players were good enough to play for Royal Antwerp. They were actually assets to them. Antwerp didn't have to pay any money for them. Man United would pay for their board and lodgings, and those players would get first team experience. It was a mutual partnership. It was a symbiotic partnership.
Like what Charlton had with Inter Milan.
Yeah, when they were going to get Ronaldo.
We thought we were going to get Ronaldo or Robbie Keane.
That did happen. Would have been nice.
That was so exciting at the time, though.
I swear to you, I was at the stadium where that rumour went round. But I was walking out with Bill Rollin. We were walking out through the concourse, mate, and this all of a sudden it was everywhere. Like, you heard? Have you? Ronaldo? I like Ronaldo. You know, he's injured in at the moment because when he broke his leg, it was like, yeah, he is like he's kind of choked for rehabilitation. He's going to play for Chelsea.
The excitement around Valley-Floyd Road was cray for months. Yeah, there was talk, was it Stefan Dalmat as well? Like the players that were going around. I'm not even sure they even got one.
They got two. They got two like youth players who you won't even remember their names. Like I swear, like I don't even know if Wikipedia would even have the names of them. What players did Charlton get from Inter? But yeah, that was it. But yeah, that's the way to do it. But because there's no money in it, clubs don't want to do that. They want to do it like this, where everything's on PSR, everything's cooking the books. It's got to stop, and like, otherwise it's going to get out of control. I mean, how many clubs can Man City own? How many clubs are they allowed to own? Is there any limit on it?
I don't know. At the moment, I think it's about 6 or 7. The City group. It's because I didn't realise they had Mumbai as well. But they've got Mumbai,
they've got
New York, Wild, Melbourne City,
yeah,
Tokyo. And do you know what? I like those things. I like the franchise which I saw because I used to watch Australian football, A-League football quite a bit. And Melbourne City were one of the most exciting teams in there. They used to be able to get the South American players on. It wouldn't even be big wages, but they used to get those South American players in there. The best players in that league as well. It brought up the standard of the league, and it was a lot more exciting. I'm sure that was the same case for those Tokyo teams as well. But for me, there's a big conflict of interest when you've got the likes of Girona in there, and potentially Troyes in the future once they get into the big tournaments into the Champions League. I do think it's something they're going to look at. But yeah, with regards to would I want my club to be involved in it? It does get to a point where, with all these things that people are doing, that the leagues are allowing to do, it does get to that point where it's like, how far are we falling behind with our level of integrity and class by keeping the same way that we are doing things while everyone else is going years ahead? And do we get to a point in 4 or 5 years' time where the Premier League isn't going to look into it, and they do say that it's perfectly fine to do it, and by then Chelsea have firmly established themselves with 3 teams around Europe and have had this model for years. Man City will be old school at doing it, and are we falling behind? We're already seeing Arsenal being linked with a potential move for this in the future. And personally, I get to a point where I'm thinking, if it is going to be allowed, I'm not against other clubs doing it because we can't fall behind, because we know in football, if we fall behind on these certain things, it takes a very long time to catch up. Just look at Manchester United when it comes to the global what they are seen as globally. Manchester United have not been anywhere near the Premier League title in a good few years, yet they're still the biggest club in the country. Liverpool are the most successful, but that hasn't knocked Manchester United to the perch of being the biggest. And that shows how important it is to not be left behind, because it will take years for a club like Liverpool and years for Man United to keep on dropping off for Liverpool to take over. So, yeah, I do worry about those things. And when we're talking about the level of like the integrity and morality of it, and if that's the way football's going, we may not like it, but we may have to be involved in it because we can't.
If it stays open, then you've got that's 100%. Like if the loopholes stay open, if this is allowed to continue to be allowed, it's got to be. But it's a slippery slope here that way down. It really is, mate. It's a slippery slope.
It is. I agree. Who would you take? What league?
Well, listen, Man United being so big, obviously, I'd take Man City as a feeder team. The tiny little, little city. No, I mean, I don't. You know what? These days, mate, in Europe, you'd have to look at like a Lecce or a Vicenza in maybe even a Fiorentina, because they're falling on hard times. You know what I mean? In Italy,
Fiorentina,
they're falling hard. Yeah, or Bologna, like some of them teams that you think of that were big. I think Bologna come back up now, but some of them ones in the 90s that were big teams, they just ain't. I mean, Parma's in Serie B, ain't they?
Mm.
Yeah, so like a Parma, when you're talking about a team that had Batistuta and Nesta, was it they had, or was it Cannavaro? Whichever one of the two it was, like at some points in there, like and then in Buffon, exactly, yeah. In Portugal again, you're looking at maybe. I mean, to be fair, Portugal it's harsh to say. We could pretty much anywhere but like a Boa Vista maybe or something. Spain, you're probably looking at an Eibar or Malaga are a bit big now, actually. But you know what I'm saying? You've got to be looking at them. Basically, you realistically got to be looking at them.
Malaga's a good one because look at the city of Malaga. It's a great spot. It's a great team to have with regards to its location, its city, and they've fallen off as well. I think they went into administration because they went too big for their boots, didn't they? When they signed like them, and then they got bang in trouble.
Yeah. But I wouldn't want to see it go that way. Hopefully, UEFA will step up and sort it out, man. You know what I mean? And just before I was having a look of all of the there's a few loanies Charlton got. I forgot this one. They did get Sasa Ilic in that deal.
Was he in Milan?
Apparently so. Yeah.
Oh, bloody! I didn't realise that Sasa Ilic is a legend at Charlton.
Yeah, mate. Yeah,
legend. Did not realise he was at Inter Milan.
No, neither did I. I think it was one of them ones where. Just having a look now, he was on loan at a different club, like he was at Inter Milan. No, it doesn't say Inter Milan at all here. What's that going on about then? I didn't think he was in like that. They signed him from Radnicki Bograd, apparently.
Mate,
although there is
Australian.
There is a year missing here. What's all that about then? Don't know. This is why you don't trust the AI. This is why you don't trust the AI, people, because the AI is telling me they signed him from Inter Milan. Let's have a look at this.
Any players? Players. Charlton, Inter Milan.
That's what I typed in. Bro. That's what's come up. So I was wrong. Don't trust AI, people. Do not trust AI.
All right, let's just have a look. Gonzalo Sorondo.
Yeah, that's a bit later, isn't it? That's like mid-2000s, isn't it?
Jasper Blomqvist. I didn't realise he was at Charlton.
Yeah. He wasn't at Inter though, was he, Blomqvist?
George Costa. Was George Costa at Inter? Nah.
Yeah, George don't Costa trust it. This
rest in peace. Died recently, didn't he?
Did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah. George Costa died recently. It was the Porto game. I think they did like a minute silence at Arsenal Porto.
Yeah, Jesper Blomqvist played for AC Milan, but that like he joined Charlton from Everton. So Google don't know. This is what I mean. No one signed for Charlton from Everton. Basically, no one you've ever heard of.
It was just a big load of hype and waffle.
Yeah.
No connections apart from the half and half scarves. That was the start of the woke era in football. Half and half scarves. Something that never actually came to fruition. Charlton, they dangled players in front of us just for us to buy tickets, all off of hope and nonsense. All right. You're not going to find anyone.
Oh, sorry, that was real rude. I was proper as well. I'm going deep on this. I'm looking at names I've never heard of.
Any links?
This could be an Italian watchmaker for all I know.
I
You know
remember,
what
I
I mean?
remember at the time because Ronaldo was coming back, and there was talk like,
Yeah.
"What's going to happen? Do we get Robbie Keane? Do we get?" I say "we" like I'm a Charlton fan, but like anyone that grew up
The
around where I'm
local boys,
from,
our local team.
Charlton was your
Yeah.
local team, and you kind of had them as your second team. So when they got into the Premier League, it was like, "Oh my god, we can go and watch Premier League football at Charlton."
Yeah, I did, mate. I had a season ticket that year, mate. Yeah.
That was well good. There was talk of Zamorano. Will we get Zamorano? Will we get Zamorano? Take Zamorano. We'll take Zamorano. Unbelievable. This is what I mean. Sorry to harp on the nostalgia merchants. But we talk about the amount of strikers that world football had back in the day. Strikers or forward players, yeah. When these kids get on these shows and talk about you nostalgia merchants talking about these mid strikers, it absolutely kills me. Inter Milan had Robbie Keane, Ronaldo, and Ivan Zamorano. They had those three strikers, bro. Like, are you?
And that's what you remembered off the top of your head. I bet there was other good bowlers there at that point as well. You know what I mean? That would be seen as nobodies now. So
it's mental. It's mental. The Premier League, yeah. Even some of the Premier League's worst, like what you'd call mids players, like Hamilton Rickard. Like, could you imagine how much a Hamilton Rickard, after having 2 solid seasons? Think about Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. When people don't even talk about Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. People raving about Chris Woods. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank would eat Chris Woods. Crazy.
Mate, in 2000, when Ronaldo was there, they also had Alvaro Recoba, Christian Vieri, and Hakon Suker.
What? As well as who?
As well as Ronaldo. They didn't have Robbie Keane at that point. I think Robbie Keane was sold that year. So yeah, I think it was already or they hadn't bought. When did they sell Robbie Keane? Was it 2000? Their 2000 squad, their front line consists of Antonio Pacheco. Do you remember him, the Uruguayan?
Yeah.
Like winger forward, you know what I mean? He weren't rubbish, you know what I mean? He weren't great or nothing, but he weren't rubbish. They had Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo. They had Marco Ferrente, the Italian. I thought I said DiBaggio then, but it's Luigi, isn't it? I was like, Jesus, is this still going, was he? Alvaro Recoba, Christian Vieri, and Hakon Suker. Hakon Suker is a legend. Christian Vieri, legend. Recoba was banging.
Recoba was sick, mate. Recoba was sick. Recoba's a streets will never forget player. Recoba is a streets will never forget player. Honestly, if anyone hasn't seen Recoba, yeah, because that's a name that used to go around a lot back in the day. Recoba. It was like a football connoisseur's favorite kind of player.
Yeah.
What we call now streets will never forget player. Look him up. Go and watch some highlights of Recoba. The free kicks, the goals, the goal compilation for Recoba is a joke.
Bro, just this 2000 team. So as we're reminiscing, just this team. Sebastian Frey in goal, who was decent. He weren't nothing special, but he was decent. Ivan Cordoba, Javier Zanetti, Laurent Blanc, goodness, Clarence Seedorf, Marco Ferrente, Dario Simic, let's say Suker, Vieri. Do you remember Matteo Fiera as well? Just like solid midfielder. You know what I mean? Stefan Dalmat, goodness, good. Luigi DiBaggio. Like, that's a solid team right there. 2000 Inter Milan team. Oh dear. I think Keane comes next year, don't he? I think 2001 Keane comes maybe. I don't know off the top of my head, but he didn't last long, did he?
Here we go. Premier League, yeah, 2000 top goal scorers. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Yeah, look, this is what you're doing. Next 5 minutes before we go, I'm just doing Premier League. Go on, bring up the La Liga 2000 scarf while I one in the background. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, yeah, Marcus Stewart, Thierry Henry. Sorry, I could hear you in the background. Mark Viduka, Michael Owen, Teddy Sheringham, Emil Heskey, Kevin Phillips, Alan Bosic, Gustavo Poyet, Freddie Canate, James Beattie, Alan Smith, Jonathan Johansson, Idika Johnson, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Les Ferdinand. Like,
That's crazy, mate. How much a primeless Ferdinand? People are paying 125 mil for Isaac because of his striking. Les Ferdinand is a monster. He may not have had the dribbling of Isaac, but we're talking monster of a man.
We didn't finish. Gianfranco Zola, Dwight York, Kevin Campbell. Bruv, I'm telling you, I'm fucking telling you, people, do not disrespect the strikers from this. Andy Cole, Robbie Keane,
the disrespect gets, man.
Robbie Fowler, Malcolm Christie, Dion Dublin. This is 2000s, boys and girls, yeah? Then you want to get onto the players that are not high school. Sean Bartlett. Shout out Sean Bartlett for Charlton. Yeah, little old Charlton. Noel Quinn still kicking boots. Do you know what I mean? Still knocking boots. Like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. A young Cole Court. Like, Mustafa Hadji, he was attacking midfield, but still, people never talk to me about, never say Nostalgia Merchant again. Go, give us the league.
Syria A, bruv. That's where I've gone for 2000. Syria A. Hernan Crespo, Andrei Shevchenko, Enrico Chiesa, Gabriel Batistuta, one of the greatest to ever do it, mate. Christian Vieri. Do you remember Dario Hubner? That's a name I've forgotten.
Yes.
Giuseppe Signori, another name I've forgotten until I just had a look at this. Roberto Souza. Do you remember that Argentinian, Roberto Souza? Like, honestly. Marco Di Vaio, who was good for a couple of years and then sort of fell off, didn't he, Marco Di Vaio? David Trezeguet, Francesco Totti, Vincenzo Montella, Cristiano Lucarelli, Filippo Inzaghi, Roberto Baggio, Nicola Ventola, Alessandro Del Piero, Pavel Nedved, obviously a winger, and Nuno Gomez is their top. I'm not going to keep going down, you know what I mean? There ain't a man there under 80 mil. There ain't a man there under 80 mil in today's market.
All right, finally, before we go, we're on the Liga. I'm going to do a video of this on the thing because I'm sick of these people trying to talk to me about the level of striker. Like mid, they say mid, yeah? Yeah, bruv, we just named like 20 strikers, like that only, I'd say, 3 or 4 of the strikers nowadays gets into those categories. Yeah. Like you've obviously got your Lewandowski's, your Kanes, a few strikers in the league in and around. But bro. So the La Liga, Raul. Rivaldo was attacking midfielder, but he scored 23 goals. Yeah.
No, Rivaldo was a striker. I remember that as a forward, Rivaldo, all day, mate. You know.
Javi Moreno, 22 goals. Diego Tristan. Patrick Kluivert. Roy Mackay.
That's a name people don't remember. Honestly, people, Roy Mackay was a monster.
Deportivo was sick, mate. Was sick. John Carew. Samuel Eto'o.
Samuel was 8th in this list or whatever. That's crazy.
Yeah, bro. Samuel Eto'o was still at Real Mallorca then.
Oh dear.
He braces past Real Madrid. And he's still, his goal tally was what? Just under 1 in 2. Dario Silva. Luis Figo. Like, you're going a bit lower because obviously a winger. But this is what I mean.
Some of these names you're hearing, like some of these names you're in, like Roy Mackay and Dario Silva, in the modern game, like today, these players would be worth so much money because they were killers. They may not have scored loads, but that wasn't like their job was to hold the ball up, muscle people off the ball, and lay it off to the little man. Like, you don't see that anymore. Like, people are paying 71 mil for Sesko. Like, Sesko is one of these from back. Like the size of him, that everything that people are hyping up about Sesko, about Gyökeres, about Haaland. That was basic for these players back then. That was just how you had to be. You had to be a monster. So
another player that people will forget is Jamina. Played for Deportivo La Coruña.
Yeah, Jamina, mate, he was an absolute talent, bruv.
So skillful.
Like one of the most skillful players you'll ever see.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And this is what I mean. Like, you have players like Recoba, what's his name? The one for Villarreal, Argentinian.
Riquelme.
Riquelme.
Juan Roman
Riquelme. Like, it was ridiculous. Yeah.
Honestly, people, if you want a little highlight package, Jalmina, that's DJ. I don't know how else you spell it, but DJ AL Mina. You'll find him. Trust me, that's a highlight package you're going to enjoy. It was proper. That case it was.
But yeah, you'll probably see this video, and I might just sit there on my video, just be like, people say that the strikers back in the day were overrated and mid, and I'll just read out the list of the strikers in 2000. Name me 10 that matches that list. You couldn't.
There's not 10 in world football.
There's not 10 of that class strikers in the world, bro. That's what kills me.
There definitely ain't.
That Premier League list I read off, bro. It's crazy. Crazy. All right. Thank you for joining us tonight, people, on a trip down memory lane at the end. Men rant throughout. I'm sure. Hopefully, you enjoyed it. If you are watching on Twitter, hopefully you press that like and retweet. Let other people know. Let other people watch it. Get involved in the comment section. Thank you for joining us tonight, Russ. If you're watching on YouTube, press that like and subscribe. If you are new to the show, if you are a regular, press that share button. It makes a big difference. Press that like as well. It all helps with the algorithm. If you're on TikTok and you want to see more of my mush, Kieran AFC or the Transfer Exchange Show, you can go and follow those. And while you're there, go and follow. Oh, got a new cat. Go and follow Below the Line Media. I know you're a cat fan.
I am big. What you called it?
Flo, from that movie, Flo. Because it's a 4-year-old cat, but the size of a kitten. It's ridiculous. It's so small, but it's 4. And it's like this big. Yeah. I'm sure in America they'd be put it into a handbag. And it's well feisty as well. It headbutts people, and I love it. It just goes up to you and headbutts you. This is probably it's probably why they got rid of you, because you're a bit too aggressive. But I like that. I like that in animals.
There's a Darford cat. That is
playful aggression. As long as it's not aggression. As long as you only show me your teeth, but you don't actually bite me. All right, that's enough time for us, people. Thank you for joining us tonight, Garth.
Pleasure as always, mate. You got me. I'm on YouTube now for the next 3 hours, bruv, just watching 2,000 strikers. That's what's happening now, mate. Don't
worry, we're going to get that shortlist up on the Transfer Exchange Show TikTok page. Trust me. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.